Hey guys, welcome back to the channel today. I'm here to talk about my thoughts of Season of the Seraph, Season 19 of Destiny 2. To be honest, when I did my tier list, I think it was about 4 to 3 weeks into the season, and I think I put it in 3rd place, considering there's 5 things to put on that list. Because I really liked the aspect of Rasputin and Chloe's Bray, but it was not really into the story, so that's why I put it in 3rd. And now, after the season's finished and the epilogue's done, I do believe that I still stick with that decision. A higher 3rd than it was before, because I think the story went more than I ever expected it to. But I still don't think it's better than Witch Queen or Season of the Haunted, because they were just next level. But yeah, where to start? I'll start with the story as I can recall it, because it's been a couple of weeks since the main story happened. But I love how we got not Resputin, Chloe's Bray back, because we haven't really seen him since Beyond Light, and even then he was kind of hero there. I'm not sure how I feel about him being cast out. Not because I like him or anything like that, it's just because I have a logical thing, like, he could just go to the Witness now. So, and then his kind of ideas and his technology could fall into the Witness' hands that way, which is not good. That may be a future issue we might need to look into when, in the later season, maybe perhaps in the next couple of seasons after Lightfall. And then Rasputin. I said this to a friend yesterday, I believe. I realised we only had like 3 seasons with Rasputin, but I remember them being my most fondest, well, apart from one, which is technically you want to count the 3rd DLC as the 3rd season, because I think they counted Forsaken as season 4, I'm pretty sure, so technically that means Warmind was technically season 3. I don't get it, but I believe Warmind, season of 10, season of Worthy, and this season of Seraph were the only 3 seasons we actually really got Rasputin in this game. And yet, when he was saying he was going to have to sacrifice himself, I was sad, which just says a lot about him. But yeah, again, we also had him back in Destiny 1, he was kind of a cryptic character there. But I do like how his kind of story ended off, because it was kind of, in the first game, he was kind of this questionable character, like, who is he? What is his plan? So we know he was a protector of humanity, but in some bits here in the lore and here and there, like, we knew he had plans to shoot down the Traveler. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, that would happen later on. To grow into a character in Warmind, which we kind of got a connection of him, where we helped him defeat Zol, the Thousand Voices? I can't remember. The Thousand Voices was Riven. I think it was Thousand Wills. The worm god. And we got a bit more information about him, but he was very much still kind of the same character from Destiny 1. We got a lot more lore on him though. In Season of the Worthy was when we started to see a bit more into his mind, where like his regrets with Fellwinter, and his regrets that he wasn't able to save humanity when the first collapse came. And him and Zavala had this heart-to-heart. And then, briefly we saw in Season of Rivals, we saw it ultimately fail to stop the Darkness Fleet getting into the solar system. And then that takes us to now, where he came back and he was reinfused with Felwinter's memories after being disconnected, or I don't know what the exact implications were. But he started seeing himself in a different light. He was more, lack of a better word, human. And I believed that was the best way to start kind of ending off his character in a weird way, because it kind of gave him more of a way to kind of look at what he's done. Like, he has good intentions with trying to protect humanity, and Anna Bray, when she was not a guardian back in the Golden Age, did teach him to be more compassionate, but he was still, in some eyes, and he can even see himself now through Fellwinter's memories, that he was still a tyrant. And it's nice to see how he was kind of bonding with everyone who in the missions you did with, like with his new like sets of views. Well, not sets of views. I don't think he's changed that much, but his new kind of perspective on everything. The point that he sacrificed himself to stop something that he had planned to use in case the Traveler Shard went away, and originally Clovis tried to use to become a god himself. And it was quite touching and quite fitting, I think, for his character, that someone who was seen as a tyrant but wanted to be a protector ultimately protected humanity in the most less tyrannical way possible, which I think is fitting for him in a way. And in terms of his relationship with Anna Bray, we kind of sort of start on Warmind, that she kind of had a fixation on him, but I think that was more due to her trying to connect to her past, because back then we didn't even know what like Clovis Bray. We had ideas, but we didn't know like the extent of how bad Clovis Bray was until Beyond Light. But they both have like light in their name. But yeah, and she kind of got more of an idea there, and then the connection between her and Rasputin was really only shown again since Warmind. In this season, obviously there was season of the Worthy, but that was more kind of like she was kind of the same from Warmind, where she's like, oh, Rasputin can help us. She kind of still saw him as a tool, more friendly tool, but still a tool. And this one, she kind of grew to see him more as a family member, and perhaps even a grandfather or a father that she lacks to have. And in a way, it's sad that there's called that connection between her and Red. And it's now severed, but it in a one way I believe that Red and Anna were able to, one good thing of their relationship, or not relationship, it makes it sound like they were dating, but their friendship, or whatever you want to call it, at least brought Anna and her sister closer than they were back in Beyond Light. Because sure, they made amends with like going to Clovis Bray and telling him to F off, but they kind of, Elsie was there to comfort her when she had to eventually put Rasputin down, unfortunately. And I think that kind of just shows that even when Rasputin was kind of knew it was his end, he knew that Anna Bray was in good hands. He even trusts us in some sort of form, because he says humanity no longer needs a Warmind when we have each other, which was quite touching. In terms of Aramis, she's an interesting character. She was very much a wild card in this season. She was only made like 2 appearances, if I remember correctly, which was in the Seraph Station like mission, which you kept going up there to re-upload the thing. It was for the Revision Zero quest, and then the epilogue, obviously. And her motives, in my eyes, I'm not sure it's in the lore. I know there's some like lore about she's not very happy with what's happened to her house, with like being turned into scorn and Wrathborn. But I'm not sure what she's gonna do after this season and potentially Lightfall. I can see definitely 2 things happening: that she sticks through it because she doesn't see any other future for herself, because she's got herself trapped. Ironically, because back in Beyond Light, she said, "We are in chains of our own making," or something like that. And ironically, she's put herself in chains of her own making with the Witness. And yeah, so I could definitely see her doing that, or she just absolutely dips. She kind of either goes to us and for like refuge, but kind of is very off with the rest of the Elixir, is kind of just there as seen as more as a military asset at first, and maybe can be seen a bit more. Similar to a relationship, I think, if say Safoon was to be inducted into our little alliance, I think she'll be kind of there and be very much away from the other Elixir, either by the like House of Light's choice, or more likely her choice. But we'll have to see what happens with her. The Witness, we only got to see him towards the end, and that's very exciting because we know we're going to get much more of him in Lightfall. It was still nice to get a little cameo from him saying like make them feel your pain and they have nowhere else to run. That's very much giving the hype to Lightfall, which I did like that. I did like, speaking of Lightfall, the final like scene in that cutscene where it shows all the darkness ships. You can see in the background that there is Callus's new ship. I can't remember its I can't remember the name, but I remember it being very Cabal, despite being a dark ship. And then there is Mithrax. He kind of doesn't really have a role in this season. He kind of just said to Aramis, please don't. And Osiris, despite having a couple of things at the start of the season and the dungeon, he had a lot less of a role than I expected him to have. I thought he would be like here and like much more in the thick of it. But I suppose he has also lost his light, so he can't be as much in the thick of it as he used to be. But I suppose they kind of have to have him reserved, because if he was all over in this season, and we're also having him all over Lightfall, it will kind of be too much of him, maybe. So I can see maybe why they kind of had him at the start, to kind of say, oh, we need to find this Neomuna or Neptune, and try and get the ball rolling, and then kind of see him then in Neomuna in Lightfall. Very cool season. If I had to rate it out of 1 to 5, I would give it a comfortable 4.5. Because like I said, I believe Lightfall, I keep saying Lightfall, Witch Queen and Season of the Haunted are 5, easily. If possible, Haunted could be maybe like 5.1, maybe. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this season's story ended off. Much more better than it was, like say, like last season, where it kind of just... Last season I was kind of here or there with some things I really liked with the Emis and Mithrax conflict and Mithrax dealing with himself. But the epilogue kind of... I didn't get it. It doesn't feel right. It was still miles better than Season of the Risen, because Risen kind of just, it didn't feel like it went anywhere for me. And we're kind of afraid that Season of the Defiance that comes out of Lightfall might be something similar to that, so fingers crossed they might give that a bit more substantial story. But yeah, I just want to say my thoughts on Lightfall. I really need to get my head straight on Season of the Seraph, I mean. And yeah. If you have any thoughts on this season, feel free to put in the comments and I'll try and reply to see what your comments, like your opinions of the season were, and we can maybe have a conversation in the comments. Anyway, this will be me for now, and I'll see you at Lightfall. Goodbye for now. Bye.